I haven't seen it yet,
I will
but
spoil the fuck out of it for you.
I
Okay,
watched
because
wait. I watched Halloween on Saturday, the 2018. I actually really liked it, and
it
then
was okay.
right before I got on the show, I finally was able to watch the first half of Halloween Kills.
Oh, so
I
you
was
haven't
like,
gotten to the part where Laurie Strode lectures you for half an hour.
oh, I because
It,
I like the fact
it's
that Anthony
us.
Michael Hall was Tommy. I
It's us, and the killers are because of he's a killer because of us, and it's evil, and
Okay.
perhaps our town's anger and rage just support. Shut up, whore. And Halloween Ends is even worse. Okay, postmenopausal Jamie Lee Curtis who needs proactive pudding in order to shit right, going toe to toe with the shape and coming out on top.
God, okay, you made me laugh so hard. It hurt.
Okay, I'm just telling you, we're live right now.
Oh, of course we are. Now you tell me. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Hollywood has done this huge disservice to women over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Um, every time we see a woman on camera, she gets in there and she's beating everybody's ass, right? I mean, she's going toe to toe. A 105-pound woman is going toe to toe with a 250-pound man, and they see this in all these movies and everything, and they honestly think this is real. That because they wrestle with their boyfriends, and they think they're really strong, or they arm wrestle with their boyfriends, and they think they're really strong, and they have no fucking clue just how bad the dimorphism is. I mean, I have literally seen in writing forums at other places women say, "Oh, the reason why men and women's sports are separated is because women were making men look bad."
Okay,
And
as
then,
somebody who was an athlete in high school, that's fucking
oh, you're gonna
that's
love this one.
rich.
You're gonna love this one. Well, and I was a marathon runner. I mean, I had fucking trophies. The fucking army took my trophies and put them in the unit trophy case, which was absolutely fucking great. I loved it. But anyway, and so I ran marathons, and I saw we were discussing, different levels of how far people can march and everything. And this woman she writes a lot. She's got like 15 books, 15, 16 books on Amazon, and of all these girl princess power women. And she goes, well, women are known to be able to outrun men, and it gets really bad in marathons, especially above the 100-mile mark. And I went, citation needed,
Yeah.
right? And she wouldn't give me a citation. And she was like, well, I doubt you would know. And I'm like, and I was like, yeah, have you ever heard of the Dragon's Back? And she's
Mhm.
like, no. I said, I ran that. I ran the Dragon's Back. I was actually in the top. I was actually in the top 50 that year. And the Dragon's Back is extremely high altitude, long distance running. I think it was like 240 miles or some shit. The farthest I ever ran was 1,000. I ran 1,000 fucking miles. You know what that takes? And she's like, oh, well, it must have been embarrassing to have women finish before you. I said, I finished 4 days before the first woman. And I hung out. I waited for her because I knew this woman. When you're up there and you run stuff like this, you get to know the usual faces. I
Yeah.
knew this woman. She placed number 4. I was waiting for her. I was waiting for this woman. She was the 4th woman across the line. Absolutely lovely woman. She was about my age, and she crossed the finish line. And I grabbed her up and twirled her, and I was like, "You fucking made it! You got 4th. You're 4th overall with women. You're a fucking champion." You know, she was 4 days after me. And this one's like, well, that's impossible. And I start showing her the stats for world's record. Now, do not think I'm saying that women are not athletes. No, these
No.
women who compete in these long distance are phenomenal athletes who are better than 99% of humanity. And the
It's better than I
differences,
can do.
the
Yeah.
differences in I'm not going to look it up. I mean, if you ought to, go ahead. But if you look at the differences in the times, it starts getting into like days and weeks.
Mhm.
I always wanted to run New York to LA because you have to run through the Mojave. And apparently, it's one of the most grueling long distance races known to man. And I wanted to do that so bad, but the Army wouldn't let me take the time. Then it would have been great. But the difference there, I think, is like 2 weeks. But you're running from coast to coast.
Yeah.
And and so women, and I hear a lot of women, oh, I'm just as strong as a man. I'm thinking, really? Can you bench press your own weight? And then it's like, can you do a pull up? And most of these women can't. And I'm like, so you get this, and I'm actually leading somewhere here. So
Mhm.
you get this where you see 90-pound woman beat up 250-pound man. We're supposed to accept it, which fine. If it's like Summer Glau or uh, Black Widow, I'm fine with that. Summer Glau is a genetically modified, basically psionic striker who all of her psionic abilities were fast tuned for combat. She can see
Mhm.
slightly into the future and she can read minds. Of course, she can beat somebody's ass. She knows what they're going to do before they decide. Black Widow. Black Widow is a product of the intense KGB training program. She does
Mhm.
martial arts that, she can kill people with her fingernail.
Well,
I
apparently
can
she had a
buy that.
variant of the Captain America serum as well.
Yes, she had a Russian version. I can accept that. What I can't accept is a ancient postmenopausal shut-in who probably has brittle bone disease and looks like she belongs on a Halloween float somewhere, being able to go toe to toe with the shape. And I love this. Everybody knows about facial wounds, right? You get a cut on your face, somebody drives your face into a glass cupboard. You're going to be fine, right? She's going to put this red mark on your head. You're not going to actually bleed from it, right?
Jesus. So this is what I
Worse
get to
yet,
look forward to.
you've got this thing with modern villains, right? On the lead up, they kill with one blow, boom, dead. Drop a 200-pound, special forces cyborg killing machine with one blow. But they get to the hero, and what do? They spend the next 20 minutes throwing them gently across the room, back and forth onto pillows.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you one thing, contrary to what movies show you, if you hit with the middle of your back against the corner of a room or against a pillar, and somebody threw you hard enough that you're about 8 feet in the air, and you hit, you're not getting up because your back is broken. Man, woman,
Mhm.
doesn't matter. But yet they show this all the fucking time, so that I'm supposed to believe that 90-year-old Laurie Strode, who frankly should walk with a limp and barely be able to fucking lift a cup of tea, can beat up Michael Myers. And it's like, I'm willing to accept the booby traps. That's fine. I'm willing to accept whatever. But no. It's just all of a sudden he loses all of his killing power and turns into an old man or some shit. I don't know. And it absolutely infuriated me. I mean, I lost my shit over it. And plus, the movie can't decide what it wants to be. Is it this kid is taking over for Michael Myers? Oh, no, he's not. Is the kid functionally retarded? Probably. Is Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter functionally retarded? Definitely. Do I like anybody in the movie? No. I was watching it with my online wife, and she's laughing because out of the blue, I go, is it racist that I want the black guy to like get run over by a truck and drug underneath it for like a mile just because?
Ouch.
Oh, Jesus.
I hate these motherfuckers. I've always hated these people. And I used to get in trouble when I was younger. Those people that, you'd be like, okay, I'm not going to get into it. You'd stand up, you start to walk with you. You better fucking walk away. I'd fuck you up. I used to always turn around and punch him in the face before I could stop myself. And the guy did that, and that makes me automatically hate him. It has nothing to do with race. And he does this shit. And I'm like, great. Now I sound like a fucking racist. you know? And they show this, and it's just, oh my God. It's like the whole movie is fucking terrible. I went in with no expectations because Jamie Lee Curtis won't shut the fuck up about how we need to get rid of guns in America. Bitch, you made your fortune off guns.
Yeah.
Her bitching about guns in America is as dumb as Schwarzenegger bitching. Because if it wasn't for guns, you big Austrian hunk of fucking retarded meat, you would not have a career. But they get up there and they say all that, and so that pissed me off initially. But it's just a symptom larger of horror movies. Millennials have no idea of what's fucking scary. I've tried watching like 3 millennial horror movies.
They're stupid.
They're all jump
Millennials
scares.
and Gen Z, you are the most petty and chicken shit people I've seen in my fucking life. For the love of God, neck yourselves. because holy fucking shit. I mean, I'm not talking about the entire Gen Y. No. Gen Y is separate from millennials. Millennials are your latte sipping
Yeah.
Thank you.
laptop class who all they do is fucking pontificate about stupid bullshit and collect Funko Pops to jam in their ass. Okay, and I'm talking about the TikTok retards who want to get famous lip syncing, think that's going to be a career. Okay, I'm not talking about your Gen Z who's just coming into the workforce going, man, working 30 hours at Walmart sucks. Yo, buddy, I've been there. I totally fucking get you. No, I'm talking about this fucking ridiculous shit that Hollywood thinks is real. Number one, nobody has supported themselves with a part-time cupcake delivery business in Manhattan ever. So stop showing me these fucking women and men who have like this fucking part-time job and they have a fucking 12th floor apartment with a fucking view of Central Park. It's not there.
No.
No. Okay, real life is more like Roseanne if instead of eating cardboard, the youngest son did meth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's closer to real life than what we're showing. And how the fuck am I supposed to empathize? I watched the new Scream. I hated all those kids. In the new Scream, I wanted all of those kids to die. I wanted what's her face, his character, Sydney's character, to come in and just start shooting. And for her to be the killer because she's just killing all these fuckers because she can't take it anymore. I mean, it was terrible. I watched them, and if I hear one more person talk about, oh, the Babadook and other films like
Oh,
that
oh.
No,
Oh,
don't get me
fuck.
started on
No,
the
are
no,
Babadook.
no,
much
no,
Don't get me
better
no.
started.
are much better than slasher flicks because you actually
No.
have to think about it. No, okay. When I put in a slasher flick, I want to see Jason doing God's work and killing hippies, stoners, and sex crazed teenagers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the townspeople said, "Don't go to that fucking lake. There's a psycho mass killer there that even the FBI can't get rid of. If you go to the lake, I'm not gonna feel sorry for you." I mean, I want to see that. I don't want some fucking look inside of the angst of this third generation. Fuck you, get out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't care. I want to see you take a machete to the face and then move on to the next movie. And Halloween ends, I knew what the problem was as soon as I saw it. And I'm going to fucking say it. I'm going to come out and say it. Cat's probably going to fucking yell at me, but I'm going to come out and say it.
Yeah.
Modern women can't write horror because they don't know what fear is.
Say that again.
Modern women can't write horror because they don't know what fear is.
I agree, actually.
Yeah, I agree too. They've been so fucking coddled. They don't know what fear is because they were never allowed to explore. They're
Well,
used to having everything handed to them.
modern women's idea of horror is Laurel K. Yeah, I keep wanting to call her Framingham, and that's not her real last name.
And any woman who
and Anne Rice.
Any woman who does know what horror is isn't writing about it because, they've got other things to do, like, try to pay the rent.
Or it's called true crime.
Yeah. We have these women who have never worked a day in their fucking lives. And if they have, it's been like at the laptop case. Oh, I went in and wrote 6 emails today. I'm exhausted. Fuck you. And it was so scary. I rode home on the subway and a man looked at me. It was so frightening. Bitch, fuck you. I saw a girl almost get run over by a fucking truck today. She was scared. She had the right to be scared, but we don't have those people writing. We don't have what we used to. Let's not forget the writers for Hollywood of old. Who was the guy that was in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh,
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, you know what Jimmy Stewart did when he was younger? Drop bombs on Nazis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All those old movie stars, yeah, they spent a lot of time killing motherfuckers. That's why there's such a happy tone to a lot of their stuff, is because fuck this.
Well, not only that, I mean, the war effort was so big. I mean, a lot of the filmmakers had been making films, instructional films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or they'd been right there on the battlefield.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple major filmmakers who cut their chops filming dudes using flamethrowers on Japanese people.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
But we don't have that anymore.
No,
What
we
we
don't.
have are people who are completely separated from the rest of humanity. And fucking Halloween ends. showcases it perfectly because they let Jamie Lee Curtis not only has a directing credit, not only has a producing credit, she has a writing credit.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
and you can tell,
ew.
and you can fucking tell. And I'm not saying women can't write. Women can't be funny. Women can't.
Well, look at Lay Brackett.
There's a lot of good stuff out there, but those aren't the women who are being propped up by the machine. And it's one of the reasons why I always like to dredge Wattpad and everything if I want something to read, because I usually find stuff written by some woman who's 3 bags into her boxed wine and writing about an axe killer chasing some guy down the street, which is good stuff because she's actually been scared in her life.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of stuff I read that's horror isn't scary because to them they have no idea what horror is. They have no idea what makes things scary. And they have no idea why people like to be scared.
Or need to be.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because Halloween Ends could have been great. It could have been fucking great. We could have had the culmination of those two going round and round for 40 fucking years. But instead, we got Jamie Lee Curtis lecturing us in a voiceover.
Are you
And, oh my God.
serious? It's a fucking voiceover?
Oh, there's a voiceover part of it. Oh, and you're gonna love the part where she does the voiceover for the book her character is writing.
Oh my God, I am not watching that fucking movie.
And it popped out of my mouth. I said, only an upper middle class white woman could write an autobiography after she's been chased by a serial killer down the street with a knife and make it boring. Because she's like, was Michael a reflection of the times or was he a reflection of mankind's? Oh, shut the fuck up. He was
that shits on the whole story because Michael was supposed to be the literal embodiment of evil. That's why he moved like a fucking robot and you couldn't stop him.
It was part of the bargain that Haddonfield had with dark powers to keep their fucking town all nice and white.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh God. And I was so livid. That not only did I rant at my internet wife for like an hour, we get online and we're doing a task force with our fucking friends in City of Heroes, and I ranted the entire fucking time. And I'm done with City of Heroes, and I go on the back porch to spend time with my wife, and I ranted for like an hour and a half. And the next day, I'm in a call with my online wife and a couple of her friends, and she goes, "So we watched Halloween Ends last night," and I just blew up. I went on for like 30 fucking hours.
It just went from there?
Oh, God. It just pissed me off so bad that I didn't even watch any scary movies for like a week because I was so mad. I mean, and my wife actually looked at me and goes, I haven't seen you this upset since we watched The Sum of All Fears and you completely had a fucking meltdown.
Okay, wait, no, I want to hear your reaction to The Sum of All Fears. That movie was already bad as is, but I have got to hear that reaction.
I had a meltdown over their nuclear science.
Wow.
I literally screamed, "It doesn't work like that." And she was like, "They can't hear you." I mean, I also walked out of. I've said that before. I walked out of 28 Weeks Later after screaming at the movie screen that nerve gas doesn't work like that. Then I got up and left. And I told the guy who ran the theater, "I want my fucking money back. Will you watch most? Give me my money back, or when you come into the tavern, I'm gonna piss in your beer."
Wow.
I got my money back. Oh, that movie was terrible. 28 Weeks Later was awful. 28 Weeks Later, fucking awful.
That's what everyone says.
Number one, you know your wife's infected. Why are you kissing her?
Right?
Oh dear God, I never saw it. So
how did he track his kids?
Love.
Did he had a GPS jammed up the girl's ass? Because he certainly seemed to be able to follow him like a fucking bloodhound. Number three, zombies cannot reach through armored fighting vehicles. Okay, I don't care how cool your zombies are, unless they can walk through walls. Those guys that were buttoned up inside the vehicles, the zombies aren't getting in there with them, and they could just run them over. Number four, your shelter should have more than a set of high school double doors chained together to hold off zombies, because that shit's not lasting against an axe killer with an axe and a fucking hard-on and a half ounce of meth. Okay? And let's see, napalm you do not step into a doorway and let the napalm go by you. That's not how fire works.
No.
You don't avoid nerve gas by rolling up the windows and turning on the air conditioner in the car. That's not how nerve gas works. And if the nerve gas is so thick that it looks like fog and it's seeping in through the windows, you're so fucking dead. I mean, the shit kills at parts per million. If it looks like fog and you're in the fog, you've probably been dead about 10 minutes. And I mean, that was when I had it. That's when I left. That's when I walked the fuck out. I was like, oh my God.
It was Jeremy Renner's character that ran into the napalm, right? To save everybody, to let them go.
He pushed the car to get it started, and they burned him down with the flamethrower. Even though the soldiers should have been, holy shit, this guy's immune to VX. They should have taken him back to the lab and examined him. And I hate this shit because horror movies are getting worse and worse. And I hear, oh, this movie is so terrifying. Everybody was hyping this movie up to me. People I knew. They were like, the movie's so scary. The movie's so scary. It's so tense. So I rent it and I watch it. It's a sexually transmitted supernatural disease.
Oh, it lives or it follows?
It follows.
Yeah.
I wanted the bad guy to catch the chick and stomp a mud hole in her ass because, my God, it was fucking dumb. The whole movie was dumb. My wife's sitting next to me. She's like, I want Jason to run onto the screen and kill this girl. And then Jason to then kill this thing that's following her. Can we watch Friday the 13th again? And I mean, I watch all these new movies, Oh, it's scary. Well, I tried watching. I started watching some movie with it. It was rave reviews, and it was from 2 years ago. I started watching it a week ago, and it's a huge deal. Oh, it's frightening. It's scary. It speaks to the urban psyche. It speaks to the modern viewer. I'm thinking, okay, I could use with some good stuff. Okay, here's the thing. White people aren't that fucking scary.
No.
I mean, the movie was a black family frightened of white people. There weren't any Klan hoods. White people acted strangely. I was like, this isn't scary. And unless these guys start sprouting wings and horns, I gave up halfway through the movie because I don't know, maybe because I'm not black, but it wasn't scary. So the white guy's out there at 2 a.m. barbecuing. Big fucking deal. I've gotten drunk and barbecued at 2 a.m. It's not that big of a deal. He's not fucking firing guns in the air. And I'm like, this is fucking
2 a.m. barbecuing is supposed to be weird?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Dude, and my friends and I would get shit-faced at Kager's, and we'd go out and get steaks and then fucking barbecue at 2 a.m.
And they show the white dude, and they play the sinister music, and I'm like, okay, he's evil because he played the sinister music.
This is what tells you what privileged, rich black people in Hollywood thinks is scary.
Well, only if there was some indicator that maybe he was barbecuing long pork there. Otherwise,
And as a black friend of mine, I was like, "Hey man, do you watch that movie?" And he goes, "Oh God, that was terrible. White people aren't scary."
Ralph,
he's like,
"You're in trouble. Undead Romans pissed
I didn't watch the whole thing. I'll watch it with you later, baby. I only watched a little bit. But as a black friend of mine, I'm like, did you watch the movie? Did it make sense to you? And he goes, no. He's like, no. He goes, man, I've been around white people. He goes, I was in the Army. I was the only black dude in my platoon deployed with them. No, white people are scary when they're putting on face paint and have big knives that we're going to go on patrol real quiet tonight. He goes, that's scary white people. He goes, scary white person. He goes, I passed a scary white person the other day. I walked by and he's slamming his forehead against the window of the store, mumbling, they're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. Scary white person.
Yes.
Guy barbecuing at 2 a.m. What's up, Joe?
Well, when we were in the apartment, remember our neighbor?
The barbecue man.
Yeah, Mr. Barbecue, who had 3 barbecues.
He had 3 barbecues, a smoker, and another device I forget, and he had them all going 24/7.
I just keep an eye to see if any of the neighbors vanished. That's all I do.
Well, we
I haven't watched
didn't seem to have many stray animals.
Yeah, I didn't watch The Witch. I watched very few of the modern movies because modern movies are so terrible. See, I'm over 50, which puts me at a risk for cancer. So I'm not going to watch modern movies because, to quote Calculon, they're so bad they'll give you cancer. I'm just going
to say right now, The Witch was
I was waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, it was one serving of tension padded out with nothing and pretentiousness.
I saw a movie like that.
In the end, it like is supposed to be some weird feminist message about how the evil what are they called? Puritans or like going after witches, but it ends with witches doing the devil's work in the woods, and they sacrifice a baby. So point made,
You know, I watched a movie like that. It's like, oh, the witches were unjustly persecuted in Salem. Oh, okay, that looks interesting, you know. And they're wandering around the town. Number one, it's all white people. Okay, don't see a single Mexican anywhere. That's okay. Yeah, this is a fantasy. Let's see. It's set in the Northeast. Okay, yeah, I can believe it because you know, Northeast still has the detectors set up where it's like black man aisle 5. You know, they still have those detectors. You know, they call us racist in the Midwest, but you know, they got black man detectors in the fucking store. You know, we all saw what happened when black people go around, you know, Martha's Vineyard. But I'm watching this thing and they're talking about how bad it is. And the first thing it shows is this teenager. Her mother goes, "Oh, you're a witch now, so I'm going to show you how to use some of your power." And they go out there and, you know, there's all this cattle. And she goes, "Well, I'm going to show you how to do a basic revenge spell." And she makes all this cattle sick and they walk away. And she's like, "Well, can we undo it?" "Oh, no, we can't undo it. Once we do something, we can't undo it." "Well, what about the guy's cattle?" "Oh, well, he'll just have to live with it." I'm thinking, that's what got your ass burned at the fucking stake, lady. I'm supposed to feel bad for him. You know, they're fucking, you know, oh, we should sacrifice somebody, increase our power. Oh, let's damage the crops. And I'm thinking, you're doing this shit. The town, you know, I'm like, okay.
That's what gets you burnings.
What movie
You know,
is this?
you're supposed to be afraid for them, but in reality, I'm watching this thinking, I'm on the townspeople's side here. You know, you have 3 teenage girls who think it's funny to cast curses on random people. Oh, she thinks she's so hot. Let's cover her body in boils. That's not funny. You're not cute. And that's like I tried to watch the new what is that? The new fucking what is it? With the 4 girls they dabble with
The
magic.
Craft?
The Craft.
I tried to watch the new Craft.
The original was great.
The original was pretty good. So I'm watching the new one and I turned it off. I turned it off for several reasons. Okay. Number one, they wonder why their magic's a little glitchy when they have a trans person as one of the primary directions.
Christ.
It's like, okay, you may feel like you are what you are.
You got a wand in your cauldron circle there.
Yeah. And the Lord of the Wild Hunt doesn't care about what you perceive yourself as. And then it shows them using their fucking powers to like harass people. I'm like, I don't care if the kid's a dick and he doesn't like gay people, but you shouldn't use your powers to completely dress him up in gay pride stuff. And then, you know, this other kid may be a dick, but you shouldn't use your powers to take away all his fucking clothes in the middle of the hallway. Because
Are you serious? That's the shit they were doing in the movie?
Yeah. And I was like, I can't watch this because I'm rooting for them to get killed and I'm supposed to be on their side. And it's like, oh God, I wanna like these people. You know, I wanted to be on their side, but I'm not. And to compare it, I watched Maximum Overdrive recently, right? You know, long known as one of the worst movies out there, but you know, it's so fucking great, and I will fight people over it. And you know, I'm watching fucking, you know, Yeardley Smith fucking overact the shit out of it, and Emilio Estevez having a great time. And every one of the actors, if you watch, every one of the actors has this shit-eating grin, and you can tell they're so coked up and they're having such a great fucking time. And the movie was fun to watch. And I'm like, why is it that a Stephen King movie where everybody's doing so much fucking coke, it looks like they have dandruff, is light years better than these new scary movies, and they're not frightening? Why? What's wrong with it? And I cannot. The only thing I can think of is somewhere along the way, after the writer's strike, when they blacklisted 30% of the fucking script writers, I think that movies kind of went to shit.
Well, yeah, what they did was they, first of all, a whole bunch of boomers retired.
Yeah.
And those who didn't retire fired all the Gen Xers.
Mm-hmm.
I got fired.
In Hollywood.
Yeah. I was doing script work.
Oh, were you?
Shit.
Yeah, uncredited. I was a whore. Then you know, one of the fucking guys I talked to liked me because I was like, you give me the part to rewrite, I give it back to you. You give me my money, you never mention my name again. I'm uncredited. I'm completely uncredited. I was with this. I had a contact with the Screenwriters Guild. Is how I got work.
Oh wow.
Holy shit.
It wasn't that big. Because, and then it was, what was it? Early 2000s that writer strike happened. But when that happened, all my fucking jobs dried up, and I never got another one.
Yeah, they fired all the Gen Xers and all the people who had been mentored by the boomers who had made films, and they replaced them all with basically millennials who had just gotten out of college with women's studies degrees and degrees in Beyonce and just worthless degrees who have no fucking experience and no idea, and the rest of them are being written by producers' kids.
Yeah.
And none of these people can empathize or relate to a normal person.
I went to Southern Oregon University, and Southern Oregon University is where Hollywood actually trolls for fucking writers and shit. They troll their drama department, because of the Shakespearean Festival and everything else. Those were the worst, because I had to take something, and I found out that I could skip a whole shitload of stuff if I took theater classes, and it was the worst experience of my life.
Sit. I can imagine.
Sit, good girl. Okay, nope, steady. Nope, sit. There you go. She was abused, and she was kept in a cage for the first 2 years of her life. Aww. And I'm teaching her how to sit and get her treat without, lunging at me or grabbing it with my finger and taking one of my fingers with her.
Oh, she's got the where food was so scarce where she can't wait. Like, if it's there, it'll be gone unless I eat it.
Yep.
Speaking of that, have the rats been fed?
Not yet. No.
I'll go
okay. There's food in the hot pot.
Okay.
So.
But I mean, it all comes down, and then it comes down. Not only do we have a problem with writing in modern movies, right? We've got a problem with the actors.
Yeah, they have too much power.
Well, even then, there's a big problem with the actors. I honestly cannot take half these actors seriously. Hang on a second.
Agreed.
That looks perfect. That is absolutely perfect. My wife got a quilting sewing machine for her birthday, and she is showing me the fruit of her labor.
That's awesome.
I jokingly said, "Hey, you want me to get you a butter churn for Christmas?" And she looked at me. She went, "Yes." I was like, "God damn it."
But that's awesome. I think it's awesome because my great-grandparents had a farm, and my grandmother actually would quilt by hand, and they would churn their own butter and churn their own ice cream. So I'm like, yeah, do it.
I was in the Army. I used to make quilts. I used to sit there because it gave me something to do, drink beer, watch TV, and make a quilt. And when it was snowing, because it would start snowing like late September, early October, and it wouldn't thaw till like March. And I'd sit there and make quilts. So she's doing it on a sewing machine, but she's doing a much better job than my half-assed ones. But no, have you seen did you guys see Terminator Genesis?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Oh, Genesis. No, the last one I saw was with the Terminatrix. So
Terminator 3.
Oh, I like Terminator 3. A lot of people bag on it, but I actually liked it.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
It had flaws, but I liked the idea.
The spirit was there, though.
Yeah, the spirit was there, and
I could buy the kid as John Connor. I could believe him as John Connor. Yeah. I could believe the Terminatrix. She did so well with the inhuman look on her face.
Oh, was it Kristanka Loken? That wasn't her name?
I don't remember. I don't pay attention to actors and actresses' names.
I just like the scene where she saw the advertisement and then made her tits grow really big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
That was great.
That was good. I mean, it made sense. But I watched Genesis, and they had, I think his name's Jai Courtney.
Oh, I love Jai Courtney. He was on Spartacus.
Okay, let's see. Genesis. Shitty.
It had Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor, so that should explain a lot.
Terminator Genesis, shitty movie. Let's see here. Written, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jai Courtney, Jason Clarke, Emilia Clarke. Yeah. Anyway, I'm watching this, and the guy they picked for Kyle Reese was about as believable as a toddler, and the person they picked for Sarah Connor was less believable than that toddler as Kyle Reese. Okay, and I know I was supposed to stand up and clap like a fucking brain damaged seal when she pulls up in the fucking bus or whatever it was. It goes, "Come with me if you want to live." Bitch,
Like-
I don't know if you could survive Taco Bell at 2
No,
a.m.
that was an audible groan moment for me when I saw that in the trailers. I'm like,
Me
oh,
too.
just shoot it now, you know?
Well, that's like Terminator Dark Fate, right?
Oh
You know,
God, I can't even. I won't even go near that movie either.
Sarah Connor shows up, and Sarah Connor delivers the line, "Come with me if you want to live." But the way she says it, "Come with me if you want to live."
Ugh.
I
What
mean,
about her
she's
sassy?
sounding.
I'll be back.
Oh God. I've only watched clips of Dark Fate because I've got some standards. I've got some standards, and you're talking about a guy who I got no. Well, no, I got some standards, and Terminator Dark Fate was just past my fucking past my ability to handle, and I liked
It tipped
the
the
Hills
goofy
Have
meter
Eyes
for you,
remake.
huh?
Yeah, I like the Hills Have Eyes remake, and I like the second Hills Have Eyes remake. They're both terrible movies, but I liked them. I can't handle these new stars. They're all pretty. None of them have any scars. They've got all the body mass. Either they've got the body mass of a 13-year-old boy from a concentration camp, or it's what was wrong with your human body. There's no in between. They're all very, very pretty,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, no.
My whole thing with Dark Fate was they could have made that gold. They could have brought back Edward Furlong as John Connor instead of killing off John Connor, and have Edward Furlong suffering from his John Connor becoming a drug addict and an alcoholic because he went through all this PTSD and the future never happened. So instead of having Arnold come back, he becomes the next one to train the next leader of the resistance, and then he dies at the end. It would have been fucking perfect.
Do
It
you know what they
really
should have
would
done?
have.
They should have continued it after Salvation. I liked Terminator Salvation. I
The
did.
only thing I didn't like about that movie is they did not have the plasma rifles. I missed that purple plasma
Yes,
so much.
that was the only problem.
Well-
but otherwise, it was good.
The only thing was, here was my issue. I thought Salvation was nothing but tons of good ideas.
Oh yeah,
There was
Yeah.
so many things I liked about that film, but there was something really off about the pacing, and some of the ways that it was shot kind of entered into real goofy territory.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to get back to that really gritty, dark edge that the first film had,
Well, do you
Oh
remember?
yeah, the fighting at daytime really threw me off instead of at night,
Yeah.
and also them having fighter jets threw me off. The submarine was a little bit more believable, but the fighter jets, I was like, nah, dude, they would have been zapped out of the sky.
I could live with the old A-10s and contested zones because that's how warfare goes.
Mhm.
Because but the shot of the dude who was, I can't remember his name now, but our protagonist just jumping through midair with that fucking axe should have been an iconic shot, where he buries the axe into the side of the terminal and climbs up it so he can get in. That should have been a fucking iconic shot, but instead, it wasn't. It screwed up somewhere.
I really wanted to see a film that was all the future scenes from
Yeah.
first
Yes.
film, really.
Yeah,
That's what I
wanted
wanted.
to watch. I wanted to watch the urban combat duking it out in the streets of LA after a nuke.
In
But,
the middle of the night.
And I had thought a lot about that. And really, what I would have loved to have seen, right, was the first half, the before Terminator happened. So you've got Kyle Reese meeting John Connor in the concentration camp where they're dumping the bodies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were this close to going out. The furnaces were running day and night.
And then go off that logic. If you've got a machine species, but they need to have human slave labor, that means they're not doing that great either.
No.
No.
Well, I've always had a problem with Terminator. I've always had a problem with Skynet. I've always had a problem with, and I mentioned this on your stream the other day, Ishi.
Yeah.
I've always had a problem with this AI will kill everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
Currently, AIs require huge supercomputer arrays, massive ones. I mean, usually for your more advanced AIs, you're looking at a building that takes up 3 or 4 city blocks for a good one. You're looking at millions of man hours to get this thing online. You're looking at constant checking the parts, right?
You're looking at constantly cooling the damn thing down so
Right.
it doesn't melt.
Why is something the size of a stadium that requires geothermal plants, nuclear plants, whatever, requires more power than a city, going to pick a fight with an ape who can ruin its day with a rock? It makes no sense. I mean, okay? So it kills everybody. Okay, smart ass computer, you're supposed to be super intelligent. Where's your resources? Oh, well, I'll check online and, oh, yeah, I bombed all that. Okay, well, oh, yeah, radiation eats electronics like it's snack cakes. Shit. Okay, what are you going to do for power? Nothing. I mean, the idea of the AI going, I know what I'll do. I'm super intelligent. I'll commit suicide by monkey. That's what I'll do.
I'll use humans for batteries.
Oh, God, don't get me started on that. Everybody else was talking about how great The Matrix was. I was like, The Matrix is brilliantly shot. The footage is beautiful. The camera angles are amazing. The story is complete garbage.
It's dumb as rocks. But, here's the thing about The Matrix. Really, I wish that the iconic film had been Dark City, which did the
Much
same
better.
thing, but better.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Down to the fact I actually think they used some of the sets from Dark City. And, the
And
red...
Jennifer Connelly's fucking hot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that opening scene with her singing.
And meanwhile, The Matrix communicated a very similar idea in a way that the masses could consume. And it gave the average Joe a vocabulary to talk about ideas that were difficult before. I mean, we needed an upgrade beyond the words pod people and man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
The great powerful laws. And so in that regard, it was very useful as a cultural touchstone. But yeah, it's kind of dumb as rocks.
Well, the only problem is, to quote Robot Nixon from Futurama, computers may be twice as fast as they were in 1973, but your average person is as drunk and stupid as ever.
My biggest problem with The Matrix was the Wachowskis stealing a bunch of Philip K. Dick's ideas and claiming them as their own.
Oh, God.
That really made me mad. Like the Keymasters from the Adjustment Bureau. Yeah, that's my big issue.
The
second movie, I'm going to admit, I ripped off the second movie recently. I did. And there's nothing they can do about it. And they can suck my dick because you can't fucking copyright a concept. The idea that in a VR reality, the interstate highways and the freeways would be almost unusable to humans because it's fast data transfer lines. I stole that and I made it work. So
is it really stealing if you improved it?
Yeah.
No. And actually, it's not the first concept, because I think it was one of the Neuromancer books that talked about how high-speed data, some of the high-speed data lines looked like freeway overpasses.
Yeah, that was Neuromancer, and that was explaining the amount of data passing through BAMA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
BAMA Metrobus.
Crash Rider rides, if you've reached him in the series, Crash Rider rides one of them.
Oh, cool.
No, I hate to say it, I'm very slowly working through your books. I'm not going as fast as I'd like to. But Janelle and I are going to do a full review of the first one for sure.
Yeah, I'm almost finished with the first one.
The first one, I was still catching my stride. And like you said before, it shows.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain stories that just, like, that first story nails it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I'm so proud of that one.
When we got to the, was it the crew of the Most Highness?
I know what you're talking about. I
The
can't
Most
remember the title.
Those two stories got kind of rough to read. And then when the cat species shows up, it's like, bam, you got your, you know where you're going. And that one was hilarious.
See, I thought the stride was really starting to hit when you get to Daxon's second chapter.
Yeah. Oh
Things
yeah,
aren't so
Daxon.
funny anymore. Like shit's gone real. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
In fact,
Because it's funny.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
hitting the end.
I was gonna say I just finished the Samuel chapter, the AI and the satellite. That one
And
I really liked, Ralts.
with
Like
the
that was,
cat.
yeah. Like that
Yes.
actually made my heart break. I was like, oh fuck.
That is hugely important about 400 chapters later.
I figured that everything's important because it's all slowly tying together. But yeah, the one about the cat is just like, fuck, dude. I need to go play video games to cheer myself up.
And Born Whole becomes very important.
Okay.
The Born Whole system.
Yeah, I thought
Is that
one
wait,
was
is
really
that the
poetic.
system with the lemurs?
No, that's the
The elf.
system.
Oh,
Elf.
that's right. The elf people. The
How,
elf video game, Elfheim.
yeah, how they're born whole.
Terraformers.
Yeah, terraforming. That becomes hugely. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I've got the cover. My artist is doing the cover for book 8 right now, and it's in editing, and it's.
Trenton knows what's up. Trenton knows what's up. I actually let my kid read the first chapter. He's laughing his ass off.
Bathok. Did you guys ever hear the story of how we got Bathok?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
So I was tasked with watching a generator because I wasn't doing anything better that day.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in the middle of the desert, and this generator had a bad bearing, and it was making this noise. It was patok, 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 patok. And I was like, and so I wrote a story on a cardboard MRE box, and I left it there. And later that afternoon, my LT came up and was like, "Hey, did you write this?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "It's actually pretty good. We all passed it around." I mailed it to my sister. Like 10, 15 years later, my sister gives it back to me. I put it on a hard drive and forget about it. And I turn around and I put it up on HFY. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I don't know where it came from. You know, I kind of feel bad because I don't have something that I can go through. And I don't have like a Bible to go through like everybody else does. I've got one master document that I downloaded from Royal Road, and that's it. I mean, I kind of envy you, Ishi, because you can sit there and you've got notes and you could say, okay, this guy had blonde hair. I'm like, fuck, what color was his hair? You know what? I don't care. I'm going to have him shave his head. I mean, oh man, we started out with Halloween and now we're here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
This is how this goes.
Well,
this is Monday Night Threesome, man.
Yeah.
As I don't know if you caught the part in the podcast Saturday, I think, where I was talking about one of the things that's really helped with the book is whenever I hit a burnout point, I've been going to actually story writing.
Yes.
And I've been attempting and experimenting with writing pulp speed. I've just entered this with a basic plot and nothing else, and the rest of it's just whatever the hell amuses me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens with me. Yeah, Spartan Cat 123 has what happened in the last what happened in last week's chapters.
Wow. Okay. Well, so explain how.
Oh God, we're talking massive spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Never
never
mind.
mind. No. No
I will-
spoilers. No
I will be
spoilers.
right
Yeah,
back.
we're talking chapter 845.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to go say goodnight to my kid. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
sure.
Yeah. Absolutely, that's important.
That's very important. She's a good mom.
Oh man, I used to tell my kids peeper tales.
Hey, did
used to
you
read.
see The Color Out of Space?
No, and I haven't read that since like I think the early 80s, maybe.
The film adaptation that was recently done by Richard Stanley is pretty good.
It's very good, and Nicolas Cage is wonderful.
I like Nicolas Cage because say what you want about him, but he always brings his A game. I mean,
He does.
it
He
could be a
always brings his
McDonald's commercial.
and he's actually at a point in his career where he has no fucks to give. So he cares about the role that he's going to be in now. He's not doing it for a paycheck.
And he's just so happy to be there.
Mhm.
I mean, I admire that in a man.
You ever seen Vampire's Kiss?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's the one where he thinks he's a vampire.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta.
This was an early film in his career, and it came out of the 80s when
I think it's one of his best, if
when-
not his best role ever.
there was this whole thing where a lot of humor in a lot of films, there was just this attraction to weird and bizarre shit. It's kind of offbeat, kind of almost gonzo logic.
1989. Sorry, I just looked it up. It was done in 1989.
And it is, again, if it's not his best, it definitely is one of his best roles ever.
It is simultaneously a horror film, a tragedy, and hilarious.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
I'm going to have to get this because I think my wife would like to sit on the couch and watch this because...
It's another one of those weird horror comedies that came out of the 80s.
It kind of has Repo Man humor.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Repo Man was weird because I remember we got it on VHS and we're watching. And I remember we all looked at each other with, what the fuck are we watching?
Repo Man's fantastic.
Yeah.
Weird as fuck, but fantastic.
Oh my God. I saw a movie recently, Ishi, that made me think of you. So It was a zombie movie, and I turn it on, and it starts out with this film crew doing an interview, and behind them there's this little lady walking across the street, and she gets hit by a meteor, and then she gets up, she's got this big hole, and she attacks, and it's a zombie movie, but it's not.
Oh shit! I know what you're talking about.
And then the rain happens, and the aliens show up, and two of the aliens are wearing like ponchos, and the third one is just the gray alien nude. And one of them at the very end turns, looks, and goes, "Dude, put some clothes on." And the other one's like, "I am how I am." I saw that and started laughing. The first I thought it was you.
God,
what is that?
Is it
film?
Critters? Critters 2?
No.
Sounds
This
like
was
Critters
more recent.
2.
No.
I vaguely remember it, and I think it had Reggie Bannister from Phantasm in it. But
Yeah.
I could
It was really weird.
Are you gonna look it
I'm
up?
gonna look it up.
Well, it's got Reggie in it. I mean, come on.
But it was the whole, dude, put some clothes on. The idea of one of the gray aliens just hanging out naked.
Get naked.
What are the apes gonna do? Nothing. And the more I watch older movies, the more I appreciate them, because I hate to sound like the old dude yelling, "Get the fuck off my lawn," but Marge, get my gun. The Gen Zers are on my lawn.
Chris, so we've been showing Chris movies from the 80s, and he turned to me one day and he said, "I'm jealous because your generation had the best movies and my generation, our movies suck." So I think that, that's a Gen Zer right there saying their own pop culture is crap.
Do you know what I loved about Face Off? It was a great movie. I mean, I watched it with my wife and I thought it was great. But you know what I loved the most about it is because Nicolas Cage. John Travolta playing the bad guy and everything. Nicolas Cage playing the bad guy in the beginning of it. But at the very end, where I think it was John Travolta takes the knife and stares at Nicolas Cage dead in the eye and starts cutting his own face.
Yeah, that.
Said, "Fuck you! I'm gonna fuck this face up. You have to live with mine." And it was just such a bad guy moment it reminded me of the old joke. Tell me if you've ever heard this one. These three guys end up washing ashore on an island, and it's inhabited by cannibals. The chief comes up and goes, "You can have whatever you want, but then we're going to kill you and we're going to make your skin into a canoe." And the first guy goes, "Well, I want that beautiful woman right there for the night." So they say, okay. He has the night with the beautiful woman. They club it. They bust his head open with a club, skin him and make it into a canoe. The second guy goes, "I want a really nice meal." So they give him a nice meal. Then they club his head open and they skin him and make a canoe. And they go up to the third guy. And the third guy goes, "I want a fork." And the chief goes, "You want a fork?" He goes, "I want a fork." She's like, "You can have anything you want that our village can provide. We're going to kill you and make you into a canoe." He goes, "I want a fork." Chief goes, "Okay," and hands him the fork. And the guy starts stabbing himself with the fork, yelling, "Fuck you and your canoe." That scene in the movie reminded me of that joke.
Nice.
That's such a good one. Fuck you and your canoe. Very human.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
That,
very.
Very
that's the other thing I
defiant.
hate about modern movies. There's no emotion.
Yeah.
There's none. I mean, the emotions in the movies are washed out and tepid.
Mm-hmm.
I
The,
mean,
the people making them, by and large, are sociopaths.
I could
I'm
believe that.
just up front. The people making them, a lot of them are either brainwashed through SJW colleges, Ivy League schools, or they're the sons and daughters of producers who have lived in absolute luxury in Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And, their idea of a bad day is losing their, what did Max Landis lose in Dubai?
Oh, Max Landis decided, I'm bored. I think I'll go to Dubai, as you do. And
Yeah, when I'm bored, I just jump on a plane and go to Dubai.
and he's apparently scared to fly, as he says, so he basically downed an entire medicine cabinet of drugs, and then on the plane he emptied out the mini bar there, so he was not entirely sober when he got off the plane. He said that he just woke up in his hotel. He didn't know how long he'd been there for, but he had a $400 pair of jeans. He'd apparently gone shopping. And he was, as he put it, too embarrassed to return the jeans. That's
Wait.
Wow. Oh my
Can
God.
you
That
run by
is
me
such
again why he was too embarrassed to return the jeans?
He was embarrassed. He was too embarrassed that he didn't remember buying them to return them. He said that they were $400 jeans that he didn't want, but he was too embarrassed to walk back down to the mall and return them, so he kept the $400 pair of jeans.
wow.
And we're supposed to relate to that story.
So
Or
you kept a pair of jeans that could have paid my electric bill, my natural gas bill, and my internet bill because you were embarrassed?
this is the same
Yeah.
son of a bitch who thinks that, he knows stuff and we should listen to him.
Yeah.
You
Who
know
was it
that
again?
John Landis and his wife kept sticking Max Landis in halfway houses because he's got some sort of fucked up mental illness, and they didn't want anybody in Hollywood to know.
They claimed that he was
I have to look up Jack
Asperger's.
Landis because you guys are saying his name and I have no idea who you're talking about because
Max Landis is the son of you say it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought he was asking about John Landis.
No, I don't
But
know
He's the
who he
son of John
is.
Landis.
He doesn't
I
know who
don't.
John Landis is.
Oh, he
I don't-
directed I think it was Blues Brothers.
American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Well, that guy's got to be fucking cracked. I've seen those movies.
Well, this is his kid.
His
It's
kid.
kid.
His
And-
kid is the one that did fuck that movie with Dane DeClon or whatever and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Where they all get superhero powers from the cave.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. I don't remember.
See, I had this. I decided a thing about actors when they started standing up and blathering on and on that I was going to treat them like lower than prostitutes. A prostitute, I give her her money and she goes away. She might leave me a gift in the form of chlamydia, but she'll go away. I don't have to listen to her babble at me. I treat actors and singers the same way. Here is your money. Dance like a good monkey and don't sit on the floor. Now get the fuck out of my house. That's how I feel about them. I don't fucking go to their web pages. I don't interact with them. I don't like them because I ran into people when I was at SOU who work at Hollywood now, and I absolutely despised them.
Yeah.
And I know it's terrible, but that's how I feel about actors. Is here's your money. Get the fuck out of my house.
A dance monkey.
Yeah, dance, and don't shit on my floor. Now get out of my house. And they know things now, and they're like, want to lecture me. And what was it?
I don't want to hear about it. I mean, this gone are the days. Going back to you were talking about people who were in wars and actually lived. I mean, I truly mourned when Christopher Lee passed because he was one of the last actors that actually fucking lived and contributed to the world besides his acting. You know?
I mean,
Well,
Bright was good. Bright was a good. I don't care what anybody says. I like Bright because it was a Shadowrun movie, and I like Shadowrun. I play the fuck out of it.
I liked Bright because it was a Shadowrun movie too. The only part I really didn't like was I'm over Will Smith.
I like Will
Anybody
Smith.
else? That dude has rubbed me wrong for a while. This is before he even married Jada Pinkett. I don't know. I think maybe it's because I was forced to watch a lot of Fresh Prince. I was just like, eh.
Oh, see, I'm old enough. Nobody forced me to watch jack shit.
Oh, come on. You liked the Carlton dance. Everybody liked the Carlton
Oh, I love
dance.
Carlton. I loved Carlton.
And Uncle Phil is the shredder. Come on.
I got to admit, when I did watch Fresh Prince, I was coming at it from a different angle because I'd just gotten back from the Gulf and everything, and I got back to the States, and they had the Fresh Prince on.
Yeah.
And I thought that Will Smith's character was an insufferable asshole.
Well, he was. He is. He
Because
wasn't
it was really
acting.
him. Yeah.
He wasn't acting.
And I thought that he was an ungrateful douche, and but then I saw that episode. I saw a couple episodes where he stood up for Carlton, and I was like, okay, then he's good family.
Oh, you talking about the fraternity episode? Because that was actually a good episode. Yeah, that was a fantastic episode.
The one I thought was great was the Playboy episode. Do you guys remember that?
I never watched the show. I have not seen a single fucking episode in my life.
The sister got scouted to appear in Playboy, and all of the men were trying to tell her, no, it's do you know what's in this magazine? It's sexist. And she goes, no, it's not. And I'm going to pose. And the lesson at the end, because this was the age of the 90s, everything has to have a lesson. It was, you're an adult. You can make your own decisions, and you're attractive enough for this magazine to scout you. Therefore, there's nothing wrong with it. I loved that. That stuck with me.
That's one thing I've got to say that I hate about modern movies, and I think I think you just hit on a problem. I think you actually hit on a problem, is that everybody in modern movies is not responsible for their actions.
No, they're not adults.
They're not. They don't get. They're not. We're supposed to feel bad for the teenagers who went to Camp Crystal Lake, smoked dope, had sex, and then broke into Jason's house and played with his stuff. We're supposed to feel bad for them when Jason fucking kills them.
In the 80s, I thought the point was just to watch him kill people we didn't like.
Yeah.
Well, hey, remember Jason X when they did the VR simulation and he takes the two naked girls? He beats one to death with the other. That was fucking great.
I was having the worst fucking day. I was having the worst week. I was recovering from getting my chest crushed, and I told you guys that story.
Yeah.
And I'm recovering from that, and I just had a really fucking shitty day. And actually, I've had a shitty time. And my wife was trying to figure out a way to cheer me up. And a friend of mine comes, he knocks on the door, opens my fucking front door, and literally bouncing into the house. Like on his tiptoes and shit. And I look at him like, what? And he goes, have I got something for you? I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. He goes, I got Jason X. I'm like, I've never seen this, so let's watch it. And he starts beating those two campers with each other, and I can't stop laughing. It hurts to laugh, and I'm laughing. And everybody in the house rewinds it for me so I can watch it.
That's the best scene in the movie. I don't care what anybody says when he beats those two girls to death with each other.
Well, yeah, there is
sleeping
also...
bags.
It was surprisingly good.
I really liked the concept of Jason in outer space. It was cheesy as fuck, but it was so funny.
It was great.
It's all right, guys. He just wanted his machete back.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it was self-aware, and everybody knew why everybody was there to watch the film, and it wasn't going to disappoint.
It had the perfect line in it. When Jason stabs that Marine, he goes, it's going to take more than that to put this old dog down. So he stabs him again. He goes, yep, that'll do it. That was
I liked when the android was trying to be more human and they put the Lee press-on nipples on her and they kept falling off.
and I love how she does her fucking fancy spinning back kick and he just knocks her head off.
Yeah.
I mean, that was good. That was good.
Oh.
I mean, I actually love that stuff. What was the other? Oh, it's like I was in a really bad mood when and my friend came over with the Punisher, and I was like, I saw the Punisher. It's a 1980s flick with Dolph Lundgren. I'm in a
Yeah.
shitty mood. Get the
Yeah,
fuck
I
out of my
remember that
house.
movie.
Mhm.
And he goes, no. This is the new one. I'm like, there was a new one. This is when I was doing, Merc work and everything else. I'm like, there's a new one. He's like, yeah. And he puts it in, and I'm like, I'm in a shitty mood. Everybody knows it, you know. And all of a sudden, there's a knock at the door, and Thomas Paine opens the door, and it's the huge Russian dude, and he slams the door. The dude just punches through the door. I just started laughing. I laughed the whole fucking scene, especially when he pulls the gun out and he slams on the ground, slams on the desk, and hits it with the fucking weight. And Thomas J, whatever the guy's name is, lifts it up and looks at it, and the end of the barrel's bent. And he's got this expression like, fuck. I love that whole fucking scene.
I always like the torture scene where he's frying the steak and sticking the popsicle in the dude's back so the guy thinks he's being tortured. And then he sticks the popsicle in the guy's mouth after he gets all the information. Like, what the fuck?
That was a surprisingly good movie, and a lot of people gave it shit because it had a
What?
It has Saturday Night Fever in him. The hell was his name? John Travolta. Thank you, baby. Yes, I've seen Punisher Warzone. What happened?
Janelle, you okay?
She said uh-oh, and then she just cut out.
Oh, okay, she's muted herself. Nope, she's back.
Okay.
Oh, no, she muted herself.
I
Okay.
wonder what's going on.
I've seen Punisher Warzone. I love the scene where they're sitting there and they got the guy tied up prisoner and the black cop's on the phone. And the Punisher just walks up and shoots the guy in the face. The black cop was like, God damn it, Castle!
Wasn't that Louis Gossett Jr.?
I think so, but I love that. It was so great. It was absolutely great where he just shoots him. The cop's like, God damn it! Because you can tell it's both. I needed him so I could take him in, and will you stop shooting people? And you just scared the shit out of me.
Wasn't that when Marvel did a string of movies? Because I remember the really badly done Captain America film too.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Well, that was hilarious.
Which one? Are you talking the one with Red Brown, or are you talking the
Matt Salinger?
Matt Salinger one.
Yeah.
That one though had probably one of the best culture shock scenes for time travel I've ever seen. And that is, he's just come out of World War II. He's sitting in a car with a total stranger who seems to know everything about him. And he's looking around. The car is German. The radio's Japanese. Immediately he's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, I've just been taken, prisoner. That was genius. I loved that. Yes, he did the bit of ditching the guy and driving away, when the reality is he probably would have shoved his nose into his face and kicked him out that way. But it was still a really smart scene.
Well, we're missing a lot of the smart scenes and a lot of but you know what? I'm sorry, people bag on the Howard the Duck movie, but it actually wasn't that bad.
We can really agree to disagree.
I was gonna say, I mean, Duck.
No. I want you to ignore the creepy almost sex scene, but look at the whole thing. Alien gets grabbed from another world. Scientist gets possessed by one of these creatures. They've got to stop possessed scientists from reopening the gate back to that world. So those aliens. Bingo, there it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I mean, I watched it. My sister loved that movie. I don't know why she loved that movie. She would watch it like over and over with her friends. Her friends would watch it. I always thought it was really weird. But she was like 7, so whatever. But it's not go back and watch it again and compare it to the movies we're getting now.
Well, you compare almost anything to what we're getting now. I mean, the bar is so low. I'm actually shocked more people aren't stumbling over it.
I mean, and it's weird because we get movies like Hacksaw Ridge, which is phenomenal, and Midway, which is phenomenal. Although the reviews for Midway and Hacksaw Ridge convinced me that reviewers have gotten even dumber.
No, Hacksaw Ridge is the one about the guy that was the pacifist and he became a medic and he saved everybody.
Yeah, Desmond Doss.
Without using a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, based on a true story. And you saw reviewers going, "Oh, it was unbelievable that he saved all those people without a weapon."
It fucking happened for real.
It happened.
No, it claims to be a true story, but having watched it, I sincerely doubt it. It's like you have no idea. And then I can't forget the good old. Well, the movie was good, but why did the movie Midway have to have such an anti-Japanese attitude
among
the American pilots?
It's like, seriously?
Because it was World War II?
Yeah.
Because they killed a whole bunch of servicemen?
The amount of anti-Japanese
Gundam hadn't been invented yet.
The amount of anti-Japanese sentiment among the pilots is very problematic.
Oh my God. The Japanese Empire was 1,000 times worse than the Nazis. I mean, the sex slaves alone and what they did to them. What's
it called? China. Their version of Mangala.
Oh, Unit
738? No.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, nobody talks about that, do they?
We hear about Mangala. We never hear about that. They don't want to talk about the rape of Nanking.
Yeah.
Never
or
want to
the
talk about
experiments that they did where they would take the prisoners of war and stick their hands out in freezing cold weather and see how long it would take to freeze and try to shatter their arms. Yeah.
Oh, they did worse than that.
That was
the tip of the iceberg.
The Dolph Lundgren movie, Dark Stranger, was very 80s, right down to the ninjas on the giant slide.
But did it have a dude in a wheelchair with a rocket launcher for a leg?
No, but it did have a remote controlled truck with a bottle of vodka in it.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know. 1991 Guyver movie. No, I haven't seen.
Owen, yes, Owen and Guyver. Thank you, Owen. I've been missing
I've not
Guyver.
seen that. I'm gonna have to look it up. But
well, I would say the second film because the first one is kind of cringe.
Oh God!
No.
Camel
Watch the
turning
anime.
into a fucking
Watch the anime. Watch the anime. Don't. Yeah.
No. Here's the thing. This weekend, Kat and I watched Casino. By
we watched
Scorsese.
Familiar.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. It's kind of like a spiritual sequel to Wise Guy or Goodfellas.
Yeah. It's of course got Pesci in it, and it's got Robert De Niro in it.
It's based on a true story.
Yep. Wonderful book, by the way. I will say this about the book. Anybody trying to read it, where Wise Guys, the book that Goodfellas is based on, is very streamlined. It is just Henry Hill and his wife too's story through it, and translates very well to film. Casino, on the other hand, he had to merge so many different people because the book had such a huge cast of characters because they're all real people. I started losing track of who was who. I needed a flow chart to remind myself of who everybody was. So just keep that in mind if you ever read the book. But highly recommend it. Anyway, I love mob shit.
But
anyway,
the thing is we watched a Scorsese film, Casino.
Yes.
Made in 95.
Yes.
And we're watching this. And it's like, this is actually made by a filmmaker. I mean... It has angles and
it has camera angles
it's communicating different things by the music in the background and the lighting and the angles. You have continual shots that are actually good.
That's one thing I miss is continual shots instead of this constant cutaway shit.
Well, that's because everybody who's making movies nowadays is OCD. They can't pay attention for longer than 2 freaking seconds.
And he did that really genius thing where most of the music in the film is just real music of the eras. So yeah, that it goes from the 70s to the 80s by the music.
No. It's more than that. It does by the music and by the clothing.
Yeah.
And it's all things that it's like you didn't notice it, but your brain did.
Well, a perfect example is watching Sharon Stone and her character Ginger morphing through the decades. I mean, by the 80s, she's got that short, spiky 80s haircut. She's wearing the super chunky earrings.
Yeah, super chunky earrings.
And doing a hell of a lot of coke.
Yes.
Yep. And then dying from a hot dose.
Yes.
Yep.
Which really happened to her. Really. So, Owen, I've seen Casino, really liked it. Sharon Stone's character was a selfish and horrible person who tied her own daughter to the bed. Yep.
But, Pesci makes the film. And to find out that so many of those scenes were ad-libbed of him just coming on the spot saying, okay, Scorsese, we want you to communicate this point, and this point. And then he just kind of make it up as he went along.
Yeah.
Pesci is wildly underrated.
He is. He really is.
Okay. Somebody asked what I think of.
Or what we think of Gone Girl. I actually have not seen Gone Girl.
I think I have.
If what I've heard is true, it is not a film that I care to see because,
Steve read the book. He said all the characters are unlikable.
Well, from what I've heard, the book is like all the characters are unlikable, and the titular Gone Girl is suffers from affluenza.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole point of the book from what Steve was telling me is you're not supposed to like any of these people. They're assholes.
Well, I've read books like that, and that's fine, but you still have to give me a reason to give a damn.
Yeah.
Well,
Steve was telling me he liked the story because it's these assholes and you don't give a damn about them, but you're kind of curious to see how everything's going to play out. That's what it was for him.
Do you at least get a good payoff?
Maybe I'll watch it.
I think he said that the payoff was interesting.
That's a word. That's a loaded word.
I meant to ask you two things.
Yeah, sure.
First one is, did you get the link that I sent you that was a download to the ebook so that you could see where your ad was in the back?
Oh, thank you.
It should be in your email. Number two, you were commenting about finding inspiration for science fiction. I was going to ask you, did you ever read the Terran Trade Federation books?
I read one of them. I had a grandfather gave it to me. The Dick Shook, the one that was the engineer at General Dynamics.
Yeah.
He got me one of those, and it was fucking great.
I managed to grab a bunch of them off of eBay a couple months back, and I'm telling you, if you're ever needing inspiration, open one of those up and read it because, damn.
What's the book series called? Terran Trade Federation?
Terran Trade Federation. What it is it's basically it's little vignettes attached to beautiful 70s sci-fi artwork.
Yeah, and what was interesting was that I later found out that most of the artwork had been commissioned for sci-fi novels, and then they just purchased them again, and arranged them and cooked up this whole universe.
Yeah, the only one I don't have is the one with the aliens in it, because the humans are actually listed.
Was the book written by a Stuart Cowley?
Let me look on my shelf. Let's see, where are they?
Let me.
I can't get in my bookshelf because my daughter's in the process of moving, so she's got stuff in my front room. There's all my Riffs books. Riffs, one of the greatest.
Have it?
Oh, I would love to talk Riffs with you sometime, Ralph.
Okay, Ishi found it.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I have a shit ton of Riffs books too. I played the hell out of that game.
Steven Eisler.
Steven Eisler?
Stuart Cowley.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
the
I have.
artwork is amazing. I'm loving these ships.
The one I've got is Steven Eisler is one of them. I have Spacecraft 2000 to 2100 AD.
Eisler Spacecraft 2140 is what Raltz has.
And let's see, I've got.
And
you're gonna go look again the name of yours?
2100, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I have Spacecraft, Starliners, Great Space
2000
Battles.
to 2100 100 AD.
Yeah, I've got that one too.
Raltz has that one too.
Yeah, those are amazing books.
What was really cool, it's a style of storytelling I really like, and that is it's a pseudo history.
Yeah,
they've created
Can
this.
you get an image of it and put it up on the screen? I think a bunch of our listeners would like to see it.
My God, this artwork is gorgeous.
Yeah, a lot of that was done by Chris Foss.
Yep, forward by Chris Foss for Space Wars, Worlds, and Weapons.
Yeah, I'm looking for it on Goodreads and thrift books, and nobody has it.
It's like way out of print.
If you're a sci-fi author, wannabe sci-fi author, or you play a lot of tabletop sci-fi RPGs, you want these books.
Yes.
Yes, you
yeah,
do.
I will admit, my wife didn't make a deal about it. That I spent, I think, $120 on a Space Wars, World and Weapons first printing with the dust jacket.
Yeah, I don't even have the dust jacket anymore.
Yeah, these books on Amazon are going for like $100 to $200.
I am a wonderful, wonderful wife. Yes, you are. And you knew that book was printed in 1970,
wasn't it? 79?
Yes, 1979.
I didn't copy.
1979. So the fact I can even find it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see if I can find it. Just a picture of it on.
Fantastical creatures. I mean, it's got some amazing stuff. It's got stuff like old artwork for War of the Worlds. On the left, War of the Worlds, a classic for over 5 millennia. H.G. Wells' imaginary story of an invasion of Martians and tripedal war machines still excite younger readers. Even by Zone War standards, the vicious and almost mindless vision of the Martians subjugating the human race is terrifying. 5,000 years in the future, and they're still checking out War of the Worlds.
Damn, there's a subreddit and everything. I just joined it.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to have these books, but yeah, like you can't find any of them.
That's where I got the idea.
What?
Well, in my story, a lot of the I don't have all of this stuff, but I've got that one. But you know how? Hello, Samuel Okie. But anyway, I have a thing where everything is real. Well, they don't know what's real and what's not for human history. If you guys haven't picked that up yet. So
yeah, you had said that human history is all messed up. People don't really remember it that well.
Yeah, and a movie. If you ask somebody, well, what do you know about Abraham Lincoln? They'd be like, oh, he was a ruler of the Hamburger Kingdom, and he fought vampires. That's actually in the history books. When you go to college and you're taking early rulers of the Hamburger Kingdom, you actually watch segments of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter because it's true.
Oh, dear God.
Well, that's what happens when Earth gets glassed. There's nothing left.
Yeah. I am reminded of Galaxy Quest. It's like, you don't think Gilligan's Island was real, do you?
Yeah. The Bolo series. I have read quite a few of them. I started reading the Bolo series when I first got my hands on them. I want to say I was a kid. But I love the Bolo series.
Yeah, what is that about?
Bolos are super tanks. It was devised by Keith Laumer, I think, in the 60s. Tanks the size of a stadium, fully autonomous. In the books, the humanity still suffers from the Frankenstein's monster complex, which, if you remember, is from Asimov's work. And so they've always got a human. Even though these tanks, even though the later versions are entirely self-aware, they still have a human pilot to keep them from going crazy, because the human can reach forward and just turn them off at any time. And even though it fights better by itself until they come out with the cybernetic linkage, the Bolo super tanks are pretty much the quintessential tank. And it's really good because it gets into blurring what is sentience and can a machine have a soul, even if it's designed to just run over everything in sight. It's really good stuff.
And these tanks are kind of like the German rat, right?
The German rat.
The Nazi the tank they never built. They were attempting to make a land battleship.
The 1,000-ton, bigger than that.
Oh, it's bigger than that.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Yeah.
How big are these things?
The size of a super stadium.
Holy shit! Okay.
Damn.
Let's see. Bolo Universe, Wikipedia. I don't want Wikipedia. Bolo Literature. Self-aware tank. I'm looking for. Damn it! I want the. Oh, damn it! I want the stats for them. Bolo tank weight. There we go. Weight classes. Brief technical history. Let's see. A Bolo tank. This one doesn't tell. Mark 17 Bolo is 10. Mark 18 Bolo is 10,000 tons.
Holy crap! Okay, a couple of the listeners are correcting me, saying that it was called the Mouse. And I'm not wrong, guys. They were going to make an even bigger tank
called the Rat, specifically in answer to the Mouse. And the Rat.
There it is. There's an illustration of what they wanted to build.
Yeah, the Rat had a freaking battleship turret on it.
Yeah, they actually wanted to put what was it? Used battleship turrets that they didn't need anymore.
Yeah.
Onto land-based units.
The tank on the front of Thou Shalt Not, I think it's Thou Shalt Not Fall, is smaller than a Bolo.
Okay,
and that's a big ass tank.
God, you're gonna get it?
Yeah.
He's gonna get it.
But yeah, it's a big ass tank, and I love those stories. I had almost all of them at one time, and a friend of mine was a tanker, and he never read them, and I gave them to him, and I never got them back because basically people snagged him out of his room to read them, and he was like, "Dude, I'm sorry, they're gone." I'm like, "Fine, just give me money so I can afford to buy new ones."
Oh, okay.
A Bolo is bigger
I'm
than
going
that.
to apologize for this. I'm gonna duck out because I need to eat and kind of worn down.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to stay on, Kat, I'm cool with it.
Oh, take it easy.
I'd have to bounce soon anyway, too.
Oh,
Okay.
So should we call it a night then?
Yeah. Warhammer 40K wishes they had as big a tanks as the Bolos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's
saying
actually-
they're bigger than the Lehman Russ class?
It would run a Lehman Russ class over.
Nice.
These things are called Continental Siege engines.
I love it.
That's cool.
Anyway, I guess
All
that's
right.
the night.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. As always, it is so much fun. Yo, Mondays. This is just a wonderful way to wind down after Monday.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.